Good morning, everyone. I'm Melanie Granito. I'm the Safe School State Coordinator with PED Safe and Healthy Schools Bureau, and I get the pleasure of leading today's introductions.
Good morning, everyone. Today, more than ever, it's essential that we help students prepare for their futures. In this ever-changing period, students may worry about a lot of things, but uncertain times ahead is one of those things. Finding the right career and learning how to prepare for that career should not be added to their list of worries. Bobby and I are here to show you a few resources from the College and Career Readiness Bureau to help as you support students in making well-informed decisions for their future careers and their future in general. So because we couldn't give you any fancy little, bags with some bling in them, we're going to leave you with some learning objectives. How's that? So we basically have 3 learning objectives that we identified in what we hope that you take away from our presentation. We're first going to show you how to use the New Mexico Career Clusters Guide as a roadmap to planning for the future. Then another resource for helping take the worry out of preparing for the job that best suits your students. We especially like supporting counselors in these rapidly changing times. So we're hoping that you may be able to take away, take our resources, use them to their fullest potential to help your students in the virtual environment. This, I always like this quote every time I see it, but if you worry about what might be, wonder what might have been, you'll ignore what really is right now. And I think if students understand that, it makes a big difference. So again, I'm Barb Armijo. I've been with the College and Career Readiness Bureau for almost 6 years, going on 7. And before that, I was a journalist for 20 years. And I got so interested in education because I was always having to write about it, which I loved. I loved the stories coming out of the educational world. And I thought, if I ever had another career, it would be in education. So through a long and winding road process, I got to teach for 3 years. And now I am passionate, and as Bobby's going to tell you, her world revolves around this type of educational passion, a passion for CTE education, how important it is. I have 2 sons. One's a soon-to-be firefighter, and the other one's a teacher. Yay! And it's my living example of what career and technical education really can mean for a student. Both of them really worked hard in their endeavors, but never were really quite sure until the very end what they were going to do, and they have found jobs that are their passion. Bobby?
And my name's Bobby Eichhorst. Thank you so much for joining this session. Like Barb said, College and Career Readiness is one way that we help to give students superpowers and empower them. I started off teaching science and ag in Roswell, Hondo, Gadsden, and Las Cruces, and went into professional development. And when I left CTE for a while, I realized how much I missed it because I miss empowering students. And we're just so thankful to have you looking at how to empower the students as well. It looks like the slide that's up right now is our team, and College and Career Readiness Bureau supports many initiatives that probably interact with your world and the roles that you have. We do have people on our team that are supporting different types of accelerated learning, various connections to work. Barb is our main person that supports counselors and advisors and various aspects with the career clusters, FAFSA. A lot of those areas are definitely parts that Barb can absolutely help us with. So now that you've learned a little bit about us and what we support, we want to know about you. So just as was mentioned earlier before, you should have an annotation feature at the very top of your screen. You'll probably see a little green box, and that's where you can select to annotate. And please go ahead and mark on the map. We'd love to know where you're from. I wish I could do it, but I can't.
Is that everyone? Am I see a few?
I see Los Alamos is in the house.
Los Alamos is in the house.
Hatch is in the house.
All right, Hatch.
Oh, Albuquerque.
Yep.
With our tech host, Hatch Valley. Well, and it's fun because these are the interactive things that maybe we'll be able to do with our students later on
Yeah,
as we are trying to engage with them. So thank you. Thank
thank
you
you
for
all.
using the annotation feature. So it looks like we're fairly spread out in New Mexico, but we're also interested in what roles are represented. And so if you'll use that same feature, are you here representing your school district as a counselor, an administrator? So now that we've gotten to know you a little bit more, we're going to start transitioning into the college and career readiness side. And it just felt right to start with superheroes. And so when we think of the movie screen, the real superheroes, oftentimes they had to go through a hero's journey, figure out their skills, figure out their talents, but it usually gave us confidence that we knew who they were, what they stood for, what they did in this world. And so they had a very clear direction. And sometimes it's very comforting. That does end up supporting our general wellness. And so those are the superheroes that we typically think of. But if we think about what's going on in our world today, we'll notice that in the news, Barb, can you advance?
Yep, for some reason it didn't. Oh, there we go. There we go.
If we think about what we've been seeing in the news, we've been seeing a different representation of who's being depicted as superheroes and the powers that they have or the influence that they have on us. And so, Barb and I definitely want, our educators and our students to feel empowered. We want them to have confidence and to know their direction. And so we're going to start looking at how that ties to career readiness.
And wouldn't it be, I guess we were going to talk more about those educator superpowers that you all identified, and it looked like all of these were representative in what you use in your superpower toolbox every day.
Absolutely.
So those of you who are able, we're asking educators, see into the future, find out what students' hidden talents are, something that they might not have the confidence right now, but that really could end up being a turning point for them. The elasticity part, being able to I guess the new buzzword these days is pivot. You have a decision, but you may have to pivot and change. Those are those superheroes. It just changed by itself, Bobby.
It did.
There we go. Also, you all juggle roles every day in your jobs. We understand that. So all these superpowers are things you use every day. And all teachers, all educators, all counselors have these 5 superpowers. Oh, now
Yikes.
too far. Did it go too far, Bobby? There you go. Oh, is that yours, Bobby?
It is. So one thing that I ran across this and I just thought it was a beautiful sentiment that this cartoon was done before COVID-19 hit. And, I loved it that it was, Superman asking a teacher about, her superpower. And before COVID, the response was, I can take a classroom of kids dealing with issues at home and engage them and help them in a distracted world. And I just thought that there was something beautiful and elegant about thinking about that even now, because we're all getting ready to start the school year in a different way than we're used to. But it is nice to see that empowering phrase, because that's exactly what we have been doing, and that's exactly what we're continuing to do. And so Barb and I really want to make sure that we're doing our best to provide tools so that we can help you and your teachers and your school and your students to be engaged and to deal with any issues so that they're prepared for a distracted world.
I think I've got the hang of this slide rotation now. So wouldn't it be nice if all your students came into class and came into your office and said, I know exactly what I want to be, Miss Armijo, just help me get there. But that would be nice, right? You'd say, oh, great, I know exactly where to go for all the information. I can help this kid, with the roadmap clearly and quickly. But that's not how it is, right? That's, so many students will not really decide on what they want to do during high school. That's why students in college change their major so often because they change their mind, and for good reason. A changing environment, a changing climate like we're having now. And now we add another job to your task list, right? Which is you might have to be an expert at so many occupations. And this is the resource we're going to get into. We want to help you with that part of it. So what are students' next steps? In the resource we're going to show you, it's the Career Cluster Guidebook. We're saying it's never too early to start helping students with career exploration. At the elementary level, at the middle school level, and then of course in high schools when they should start being a little more laser focused on what their ideas for their future really are and how they can convey them and get to the end of the road. So helping students find out what their next steps are is a really big job.
Sure. So with career readiness, we definitely want to make sure that we're always showing students various aspects of careers. The students that would be interested in going into science or working with animals or working with students or machinery, they probably have different basic interests. It's also important that we show what we call non-traditional careers, because sometimes we don't have a lot of males going into nursing or education, and sometimes we don't have a lot of females going into welding. So we want to make sure we're exposing them to the breadth of opportunities available to them so that they know all of their options and can make informed decisions.
Thank you, Bobby. Sorry about that. Dancing of the slide problem. This is the cover of our Career Cluster Guide, and I don't know if you all have used the reaction button at the bottom of your Zoom, at the bottom of your screen. If you have seen this Career Cluster Guide before or used it before, could you kind of just chime in with your hand? Let's see if I can do it myself. But this is the cover of the Career Cluster Guide. It is we're doing a 3rd edition. It should be out this fall. Right now, I think Alicia will put the link to the PDF version of the 2nd edition is still up on our website. And that's where you can also order these guides. They're free. You can order a classroom set. You can explain to me in the order form what you're going to be using the guide for and how you might be using it. And then we can talk about quantities. But it is a free resource that we will send to your school, your district, or your charter school. This is the interest inventory at the beginning of our Career Cluster Guide. And this interest inventory can be done online as well. Students can, and it's, as you see, it's very simple to use. They pick do volunteer work at a nonprofit organization. Do you like doing that, dislike doing that, or you're unsure? The student will, and I click, right, Bobby?
It should.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so they'll check it, and you'll go through all the categories. Students will check their likes and dislikes. Again, fairly simple to use. Then at the end of the interest inventory, you'll be taken to a page that shows the scoring. And so it's a basic aptitude of what they like and dislike. So it gives you just an introduction. There are plenty of interest inventories out there. Many of you may use the ASVAB or something else through the Department of Workforce Solutions. And Bobby's going to talk about a website that we are using that helps not only with students' career interests, but it's local and specific to New Mexico. So it's just a very nice, easy to use interest inventory from, maybe 5th grade all the way up through high school. Again, it tells you the number of likes you marked for the questions. Oh, I knew I was going to push too far. Then the colors, the color coding is what helps you. It talks a little bit, it gives them a description. And maybe this is news to the student. Like, wow, I didn't realize I was a doer. From what I marked off, I'm a doer. Or I never thought I was very organized, but this interest inventory shows me that I really am an organized person. So these are really just nice profilers and descriptions of the various profiles. These are the 16 national career clusters. And as you can see, they're broad, very broad topics, manufacturing, marketing, but within the career cluster guide, you will get a very precise description of each of these career clusters. It'll show you the pathways and even right down to the various courses that a student could take. If they're taking these courses in high school and they want to go on to post-secondary, it would show them those post-secondary options. But I think one of the key things for the career cluster guide is it shows them so many occupations that they might not have thought of within each of these clusters. We're going to take the health science cluster and give you an example of just how the career cluster guide is the roadmap for this particular cluster. So when you open up the career cluster guide to the health science section, and they're all color coded, I really think they're kind of cool because health sciences is coded a nice pink color. It's very soothing. I think it's business is green for money and things like that. So it's a very nice color coding. This wheel here are the pathways within the health science cluster. So within each pathway, like if we look at the support services pathway, pardon me, within the support services pathway, these are occupations such as mental health counselors, social workers. Within the biotech, these are more of your scientific research-based health careers. Let's just take this one, this program of study. There's two programs of study listed here. On the far left side is the program. So if you have a student who's interested in pre-nursing and you've got them at the middle school level, you know that there are courses that they can take at the middle school level to get them interested in nursing or to pursue their interest in nursing. Then when you move on to high school, they know that they would be taking this Nursing Science 1 class and then nursing these other two nursing courses. Two programs in sequence. So it's the career exploration, intro course, advanced course, and then at the very end, to keep their interest peaked, there's a capstone course that they can take. And this is where they would get the dual credit option, on the job training, and those types of rigorous content in that class. So the next section we're sticking with the same thing. This is all health sciences. Another great aspect of the career cluster guide is that it shows them that, say you want to follow your path of being let's go with this informatics nurse specialist. Know that they can go on to post-secondary. Here's the program they would be taking. Here's the degree they would earn. And here are the colleges in New Mexico that offer that program of study, that degree or certification. So they know exactly where they need to get more information. UNM Taos, Eastern New Mexico, CNM, all offers that alignment from where they were in high school to post-secondary.
Okay, and we know that you guys have different tools in your toolboxes. Some of you use all kinds of different things typically, but we would love to do a quick poll to see your confidence in supporting career readiness. And we're going to do this right before we go into a breakout session. Oh, awesome. We have at least one person who has definitely been supporting this.
Well, that was great conversation in breakout room 1. And Ms. Estrada has, did you say you wanted to go ahead and give the report out, Ms. Estrada?
Yeah, I'll do the best I can. Like I said, I was having some technical difficulties to an extent. Yeah. We all had some different types of strategies. One was somewhat of like a peer teaching and kind of put what I got out of it. was putting these kids in the roles and just seeing how successful they were and if they had the confidence in what they were doing and how they would work with the kids, which I found that to be very successful as well. I found that, you know, different sports, things like that, I can see confidence booster. You just tremendous how it can just change a kid.
Yeah.
So we kind of talked about things like that. Barbara, did you want to kind of chime in a little bit?
So, and Ms. Trujillo, and I hope I'm not, feel free to unmute yourself, Ms. Trujillo, and you talked a little bit about the work-based learning component that you all offer at your school and how that really gives them a taste of their career. You want to say a little more about that?
Sure. Well, we have 2 options at the high school for students in our department. One of them is our on-site licensed child care center. For students who are interested in working with children, they're actually able to go into the center and do real life jobs. And the other one is through our teaching pathway, and students are able to go and work with elementary, middle school students for semesters and learn more about the teaching profession. And then also our club, Educators Rising, students are able to compete in like lesson planning and just different events, you know, centered around the teaching profession.
Wonderful. And Mr. Smith, you talked about the community program, the community involvement with the parents, the students, everybody. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I'm the volunteer coordinator at my school, so I work a lot with the parents. Not as much as I'm really supposed to, because I do have over 700 kids assigned to me as well. So that is kind of limited on what I do. Successfully work with the parents, but some big school projects, big school programs that I do to get the parents involved. I know they can't really get involved in a lot with what each classroom does, but they can help out with where they're needed, and it goes over pretty well.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, breakout room number 2, you're on.
So hi, it was only 2 of us.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Cindy and I. Cindy, do you want to go first?
Sure. We really just talked about what they're doing in Hatch. As the counselor, you know, I've been doing this for 25 years. And so I use kind of an array of things. I'm in the classroom to support the students. And I do the RIASEC, which is the Holland scales. I do use science. I do the Do What You Are, all through our Naviance program. So, and then I use a lot of things from the workforce development website. So it just kind of varies on which particular classroom I'm in as to what I'm working on. You know, we do career projects like, you know, helping the students build their resume, and we do interviews, and we do mock applications and cover letters, those kinds of things.
I think we're doing great. If you wanted one more to share, that's
is anybody, this third bullet is interesting to me. What are you wondering about this confidence level? I mean, after hearing just from your peers, is there anything you're wondering about? What would work, what wouldn't work in improving the confidence of students?
I'm excited we have so many experts.
Yes,
and I think our second breakout will probably dig even deeper into some of those resources. So thank you so much for sharing with your peers. I kind of feel like my section is but wait, there's more section. So Barb shared, you know, the composition and the richness of the Career Clusters Guide that can be used at elementary, mid, high school to support career exploration, career readiness, understanding job markets. Let's see, is it forwarding?
You should have it back. Let me double check.
There it goes.
Yeah, you should just.
Okay, there we go.
Did
Yeah.
it go?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, you know, just a couple of things before we look at the resources that are made to unpack the Career Clusters Guide is that, you know, we've all been noticing the difference in jobs recently. It's been in the news. I think we definitely have a heightened awareness. And as the College and Career Readiness Bureau, we always want students to have all the information and to really think about, what's the next job after that. And so this is a graphic from the Bureau of Labor Statistics where they were looking at if a student is going into a food preparation worker, what would be the job after that? So it could be a restaurant cook, but then if they wanted to maybe manage a restaurant, they might have to go back to school to get a business degree. They may have to do some additional training for whatever that next career might be. And then if we look at, computer user support specialist, that one maybe has a little bit of a different trajectory to where it can build seamlessly from one career to another to another. And so it is important for our students to know that not all pathways, not all programs are created equally. We will always have some students who have a driving passion to be a photographer, to be in culinary, to be in different areas. We want to make sure that the students are aware of the labor market information, the training information, and what the trajectory looks like so that they can make those decisions knowing all the information that's available. And so we've also been having a lot of conversations with our partners. The College and Career Readiness Bureau, we definitely partner with Economic Development and with Department of Workforce Solutions, as well as the Higher Education Department. And so we are always very aware of different perceptions in alignment. And so oftentimes when we ask, let's say on this one, it first shows high school teachers who believe that the students leaving them are fully prepared for post-secondary. And then when you have the same survey of post-secondary, they may say, well, 26% of them, of the freshmen, they saw as being ready. Same thing when people are leaving the post-secondary, that after our students graduate from post-secondary, chief academic officers may say that 96% of them are ready for their entry-level job, whereas the business leaders who are hiring them may not have that perception. And so, the message with this, and obviously we have some counselors who practice this all the time, is the importance of communication with the next level. So the importance of middle school and high school communicating, high school and post-secondary communicating, post-secondary and industry, and even industry with our high school and middle school programs, because communication is how we take care of those mismatches. If we have the conversations, we know what the skills are. But if we wanted to start exploring certain skills, certain values, it sounded like, maybe it was Cindy, said that she was already using resources like this. Barb and I wanted to make sure that you were aware of ONET Online, because this is where some of our data comes from for the Career Clusters Guide. So it's kind of like this is the information underlying that resource. And I don't think I can annotate or anything, but a couple of features on this. Anyone can search. You can do an advanced search by skill. You can do an advanced search by education, where it says find occupations. Once students kind of figure out their interests and their values, superpowers, they can have very directed searches. But if you haven't been using this yet, two things that I would want to point out on the right hand of the screen, where it says ONET sites, you'll see on the very far right, that opens up to where you can do, thank you, Barb, you can do even more searches. You can search for careers in Spanish, and there are very student-friendly resources there as well. And then underneath it, you'll see where in purple it says, I want to be a, and it shows at my next move. At my next move is really the student-friendly version. And one of the things I love about this, as we're starting in a virtual environment, if a student wanted to be a wind turbine technician, they can watch a 1-minute video on what that means, what that looks like. And so this is a rich resource. A lot of times people ask, Where did we come up with the descriptions in the Career Cluster Guide? It's all from this resource. Other resources that we used to build the Career Cluster Guide include our New Mexico career solutions. And so you can search from the federal by the state, or you can search our New Mexico website. And part of the reason that Barb and I are excited to share the New Mexico Career Solutions website and resources is because they've been a really strong partner and advocate in helping students be aware before they make the choices in their careers. And so, we'd much rather get students some work-based learning before, before they're actually entering the workforce, or, try an apprenticeship, or know what the education truly is. So we do want to share another one of their resources. They've been really excited about supporting education. And so because of that, they came up with this one. I'm hoping a couple of you may have heard of it. I just got off of a phone call, probably 15 minutes, a half an hour before our session started, from a former student. And he was saying, hey, I really am having a hard time inspiring kids to know, how expensive is it to live in our community? So what kind of job should you have? Well, that's what this website is. And so the students go through and they pick, 20 years from now, what type of house do you think you're going to live in? What type of utilities? Do you need internet? Do you need a cell phone? What type of car? Do you really think you need a Lamborghini? But as they pick, as they think through their dream of what they think they want, it also tells them what type of monthly expenses they may have, the taxes to expect, and annual salary needed. And so it's just a great visual to help students realize why am I taking these classes so that I can get the right job for the life that I want. Along with that, before I share with you one of our favorite websites, we did want to let everyone here know that our Bureau has been having some really exciting things happen in the last couple of months. In the past, when we were looking at funding career technical education related programs in our state, we only had one source of funding, and it was federal. And for our school districts, that meant that we only funded about a third of our entire state, because those were the only ones that were large enough. This year, we asked for a waiver, and Barb and all of our peers, we're doing our best to try to support increasing access to funds for career exploration, for work-based learning, for strong programs that can help students be successful and find jobs in their regional area. And so the website there, New Mexico CTE, Comprehensive Local Needs Assessment, shows you some of that regional information when we had those conversations earlier this year. And I'm excited about that one, and I love it. But the one that most people are more concerned about and care about the most, this is where I feel like but wait, there's more. This shows you on a regional level. And New Mexico Department of DWS, they show you at a regional level. Well, I want to know at the school level. I want to know at my district level. That's what this site is. And so if you hadn't already gone to Career Pathways New Mexico, we're going to give you a chance to explore in here. Yay. Okay, so this is the website that I am super excited about. I think it pairs beautifully with the Career Clusters Guide. The Career Clusters Guide has so much information, and it's organized in a very accessible way. This one has very up-to-date information at the district level. And so Barb mentioned that you can take an interest inventory online. And so this one right here is very similar to the one Barb walked us through before. So that's available to you in an online environment. Some people want to go through and understand the career clusters a little bit more, look at the various jobs. We're super excited that the team that helps us with this website has promised us that they're going to be updating annual openings, median wages quarterly, because a lot of websites used to update only annually, and post-COVID, our students, our communities really want to know, okay, where's the jobs now? How is our environment shifting now? And so anyone can come into this area. You can search for your school district, and then you can look to see what jobs are there. The other one, the last one I'm going to show you before you get to start playing. So for the Explore Your Area, one of the beautiful things about this is, let's say you lived in Alamogordo Public School District. You can run the report, and then it's going to go through and show the district population in that area. What's the age breakdown? Because we know sometimes jobs are going to shift differently if we have a group of people who might be retiring soon. And so it's important for us to keep an eye on some of that in our local area. Population by gender in Alamogordo is a 50-50 split. That's amazing. It'll show the population breakdown, education, veterans, and we would expect to see that we'd had quite a few in the Alamogordo area. It also will show us the labor shed. And when we're talking career readiness, sometimes it's good to have conversations that, hey, you may live in this town, but you can still travel to that town to find jobs. And so the labor shed shows us where people are basically traveling from in order to get jobs in that area and how far they're actually traveling. And then the last part it'll do is give you a breakdown of what are the top 5 career clusters by openings. So highest demand, highest wages, and then largest projected growth. One thing that isn't there yet, but that will be within the month, is that we anticipate having, that's going to make it so that we can run a report just for your school district. And it will also tell you the education level. So all of the jobs, let's say we were looking at healthcare like Barb showed us at the beginning, all of the jobs in healthcare in Alamogordo, how many of them or which jobs can you access with a high school diploma? Which ones can you get with an associate's, with a bachelor's? And so we'll be able to pull those reports anytime we want, and those will be brand new in the next month. We are hoping to give everyone an opportunity to explore the Career Pathways New Mexico website. In order to do that, when you go to your breakout room, you're probably going to have, either you're going to decide, hey, there's so few of us, let's all go through it individually first, and then talk about that and other resources you're using. Or you could go to your breakout room and have one person share their screen and just explore one of the school districts, or explore one of the career clusters and the job growth.
So how did everybody feel about that website? I know we took a look at a couple different places in breakout room 1. How about is it Amy at Rio Rancho Independence?
Yes.
How did everything go? I mean, when we looked at it, what did you find interesting about it?
I love that it showed all the demographics and the job openings and the pay. I think it's a really easy and fun website to use, and I'm excited to play with it with my students.
Oh, good. I think it really, really will show kind of a snapshot of your region. And I was in a workshop, Bobby, maybe you remember this more than I do, but I think one of the presenters indicated that most students stay within a 10-mile radius of their home. They would like to if they could work there, right, Bobby?
In rural areas up to 60 miles, but within 60 miles of home is where most people end up getting a job and living.
Yep. Close to mom, they say, close to mom. Let's see, anybody else? Cindy, did you have a chance to look at the site and play with it a little?
Yeah, that's what I did. I just kind of looked through some of the stuff. I took the interest inventory just for fun.
Oh, okay.
Ended up with social being my top one.
You're in a good career.
That's right. You're in a good career for that. Stay where you're at.
But it was good. I like that, you know, they can look at the individual places and kind of get a sense of the demographics, and, you know, because that's important. You know, I mean, Los Alamos isn't a great place for young and single, you know, so have young and single, you know, this probably isn't the place for them, but this is a great place for families. So
yeah, it is. You know, one thing we noticed too, and Bobby, maybe you know the answer to this, that it didn't look like the labor market was quite updated post-COVID or what are we? We're not even post-COVID, during COVID. So a lot of the hospitality tourism occupations were at the top of the list for job growth and job availability. And we all discussed that's probably going to change. And that's not going to be the case, at least for a while.
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up. It really sounds like there's going to be several updates to this particular website very soon. One of those being able to run brand new reports that aren't there yet. We'll also see a different configuration. Right now, when we see the district profile, most of those are pie charts. It's going to be a little bit more user-friendly, and they'll also be updating the labor market information. Most of that should be within the month. And so you guys are kind of getting a sneak preview. So it's kind of like finding out the data underneath the Career Clusters Guide, and then online resources to help those come alive, just to enhance the resources you already use, because it sounds like many of us are already using some great resources. We just wanted to make sure you knew of some of the New Mexico ones.
Yeah, thank you. So anybody want to answer this third bullet here again? What are your next steps to enhance wellness through career readiness? Do you feel like so far, because I'm going to show you a little resource list in the next couple slides, and but up to this point, how are you feeling about your ability to enhance or take the worry out of that career readiness portion of a student's life?
So right now I have lots of ideas. You know, of course, I don't have any idea how it's going to work. We have a lot of online career tools, and so I'm thinking like, you know, videos that I'm going to send out, maybe weekly videos, you know, one piece at a time, you know, say, okay, you know, do this, or, you know, do this, here's your checklist, you know, and then open up maybe some office hours, you know, maybe have some Google Hangout time where the kids can literally drop into my office and we can, you know, talk about that. I assigned the science to them last spring. And so, you know, that'll be the next follow-up is everybody's done their youth science. And so now I can sit down with them. I can share their screen because I have their access to their results. And we can kind of go through that and, you know, talk a little bit about, you know, what they're thinking about as far as careers go. You know, they can close the loop with, you know, and I love that about the Career Cluster Guide is, you know, it tells them, you know, you can go to New Mexico State and major in this. You know, I love that. I love closing the loop.
Yeah, that's
right. What I'm thinking right now.
Well, that's fabulous. How many students will you see? Are you part of tell me again, Cindy, are you part of the counseling group?
I am, yeah. I'm one of 4 high school counselors at Los Alamos High School.
Okay.
And so my caseload is somewhere in the 400 region.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Yeah.
I probably have about 125 seniors. But I do all the programming for the juniors and the seniors as far as careers in college and those kinds of things. And so,
goodness.
Oh, it's.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It is. It's going to be difficult not being in the classroom because I am such a, you know, connect in the classroom with my students. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll still send you out books because hopefully we'll all be back in the schools soon. And,
right. Absolutely.
That would be a nice welcome back to school gift.
Right.
I'm sure they'll love it. That's fabulous.
Oh, and we brought up that they'll be in Spanish too, right?
Oh yeah, did I say that? I might not have. Yeah,
I think you did, but I just love echoing it.
Yeah, they will be available in Spanish soon too. And I guess the PDF might be sooner than the printed version in Spanish, but we'll keep you all posted.
Were you picking on Mr. Smith? Or
yes, I'm picking on Mr. Smith. One last thing, Mr. Smith. And then
you got it. Okay, so Yeah, I mean, I'm an elementary PE teacher, but also the volunteer coordinator. So
Right.
we do bring in a lot of outside business type people to come in and talk to the kids. Like we'll bring in firefighters and police officers, and Channel 4's come out and worked with our kids and put them on the news and stuff. So
Oh,
we do
nice.
get the kids a lot of exposure, but that's more at the classroom level. And
Beautiful.
the teachers are pretty good about getting the right people in to talk to the kids and get them motivated to choose different careers.
Well, I do have an online resource for you, NEPRIS, NEPRIS, nepris.com. You can, it's almost like a speakers bureau, but they will find like an occupation, and they have, it's an actual video, what is it called? It's interactive. So the person will be live. They go right into the, like now it's kind of hard to get someone, well, obviously kids are not in classrooms, but you can do this all on video, and it's nepris.com. It's fairly inexpensive. So yeah, I can shoot that out to you as well.
That'd be great.
These days. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for sharing out. Okay, Miss Bobby, here are some more resources because we figure we'll load you all up. Each one of these is a resource in its own, right. So once you have this slide, you can go to these websites and get all the information you need. Everything from the Career Cluster Guide, previous editions, that kind of thing. Oh, okay, definitely, Cindy, I will get you that NEPRIS site. In fact, I'll put it in the chat in just a minute. The Career Solutions site, any of these are with Department of Workforce Solutions. And then we have another page of resources. A couple I'll highlight on the next page. This, and I don't know if this pertains to any of you all, but the Public Education Department and the Higher Education Department are having a really a renewed emphasis in having students fill out their FAFSA. So we're having the FAFSA completion campaign. It's going to go obviously into next school year as well. But this group, the NMEAF, it's on the right column there at the bottom in blue, the New Mexico Education Assistance Foundation. They're one of our partners, and there you can get lots of information on how to complete the FAFSA, resources to help students, undocumented students, help them fill out the FAFSA, and what resources are available to them regarding financial aid. So I'd really like to highlight that one. The Educators Rising, I know somebody in our breakout room is already using Educators Rising. There's plenty of any of the ones on this left side here, and then TSA on the right. This next, let's see here. Oh, I keep forgetting I don't have control, Bobby, sorry.
Sorry.
There we go. This is a list of my colleagues and what we all do at the College and Career Readiness Bureau. So this is an important slide if you need any information about the career cluster guides, the FAFSA, that's me. Any of those things I can help you with. The order form is on our PED website, and that's right under the CCRB contacts there, and it's also in the chat. Alicia so kindly put it up earlier in the presentation. So these are all of our colleagues and what they can help you with direct answers. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Bobby's information was in the first or second slide there. Here we go. So in support of career readiness, we have two different things here. Actually, I want to talk about, well, we talked about CCRB and what we provide, but Bobby, I want you to explain the next gen one. I like how clearly focused you are on that.
The College and Career Readiness Bureau is very proud to let people know that we have state funding available for career and technical education. And so if you go to the New Mexico Public Education Department website, at the very top, you'll see the link for RFAs, RFIs, and we have 2 weeks from last Friday to get in applications for funding. And there is not only basically an allocated funding amount, but there's also the opportunity for a competitive funding amount. And your school district, and there can be only one application per school district, but your school district can apply for funds to start new programs of study, to support dual credit. Let's say you had teachers and you wanted to provide dual credit on campus. They can fund career exploration. They can fund work-based learning, and they can also fund leadership, you know, basically CTSOs and career and that type of information too. But we are super excited. It's due August 7th, and that team of people that we showed you, those are the ones that are working with various people in the different regions to get those applications in. But you might want to ask, if you see your principal, if you see your superintendent, hey, are we applying for next gen CTE funds? Because, you know, I really want to support career exploration or whatever your passion is. So the section that, but wait, there's more, there's money.
Yeah.
We'll support you. We want to support you. So Career Clusters Guidebook, lots of online resources, and there's funding. So
yeah, those of you working with the grads program that were in my breakout rooms the last couple of times, this next gen funding can be used. So we would hope that your CTE, if you have a person who's in charge of CTE education at your school, that they would apply for this funding. So I think there's one more slide, just the ending slide here. We thank you for your dedication and devotion to students, especially in the most trying of times. This cannot be easy, and it can't be easy for you PE teachers. I gotta say. So thank you for what you do and everything that you brought to the table here. If you have any last minute questions, feel free.